We're going to do This Little Light of Mine. It's hymn number 118 in the Gray Hymnal. We're going to do hymn number 346. Come sing a song with me.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill Unitarian Universalist. I'm Alexa Adamo Valverde, a member of the Worship Associates Ministry. We extend a warm welcome to all on this cold January morning, especially visitors and newcomers. We're so glad that you're here. Please check out the special section for you on the back of our order of service, welcome guests and newcomers, and then please join us after service for our Sunday social. We also welcome those of you attending online. Please know that lyrics to hymns and all elements of service may be found at the bottom of your screen, and a complete order of service, including weekly announcements, is available through the link in the Sunday morning email and on the church website. If you could please turn off or silence any cell phones to maintain a worshipful experience. Whoever you are, whomever you love, and however you arrived at this beloved place, you are welcome here. And if you would, please rise in body or in spirit for our opening hymn, number 1000 in the blue hymnal, Morning Has Come. Our call to worship was written by Kathleen McTeague. The 1st of January is another day dawning, the sun rising as the sun always rises, the earth moving in its rhythms, with or without our calendars to name a certain day as the day of new beginning, separating the old from the new. So it is. Everything is the same, bound into its history, as we ourselves are bound. Yet also, we stand at a threshold. The new year, something truly new, still unformed, leaving a stunning power in our hands. What shall we do with this great gift of time this year? Let us begin by remembering that whatever justice, whatever peace and wholeness might bloom in our world this year, we are the hearts and minds, the hands and feet, the embodiment of all the best visions of our people. The new year can be new ground for the seeds of our dreams. Let us take the step forward together onto new ground, planting our dreams well, faithfully, and in joy. Come, let us worship together. And now for our chalice lighting. The words are in your order of service. Please join me in reading them if you wish to do so. May this flame we light remind us that every one of us can bring the light of love to the world. May this clear flame be a symbol that every heart can burn bright with joy, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of ages speak to us through this flame and stay in us. Every one of us can bring the light of love to the world.
feel like we should all just sing Blue Boat Home this morning. Each week we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows with which we come into this community. It's during this time, if you've come this morning with either a significant personal joy or sorrow, that you're invited to come forward, place a stone into the water bowl, say your name, and briefly share your joy or your sorrow. Let us enter into this time of tenderness and trust. Are there any joys and sorrows this morning?
Everyone, I'm Jenny Warnash. This stone is for our fellow church member, excuse me, Bianca Rodriguez. I saw her yesterday. She is seriously struggling financially, seriously. And she's finally going back to work next week. She's been out for 3 months on medical leave trying to get her seizures under control, which are under control as long as she can take her meds, if she's not rationing them because she doesn't have enough money, which she had to do last month, so that she would have enough this month so that she could go to work without having seizures. So she won't get paid again until the end of January, beginning of February, and I'm just really worried about her. So if you could keep her in your hearts, and hopefully going back to work will go okay. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Melva Fager-Oken, and on behalf of everybody, my sorrow for the state of the world is so great. I was just feeling so sick all day yesterday, and not only what happened, but where we go from here. And so I feel like every day is a good day for the serenity prayer, to know what I can do to make a difference and what I can't impact. So I look forward to working with all of you on this.
I'm Jeannie Jensen, and I have a joy to share. Last week, my daughter and her 3 children, 10, 8, and 4, baked 100 cookies after school for one event, then came to my house in Chapel Hill and proceeded to take all the Christmas decorations down, pack them away, take them to the cellar, and put the tree up on it. And they were all so loving. It was a pleasure.
My name is Miranda Holquist. I'm Graham's mom, and my joy is that I got to hear that piece practiced all week long. I'm Martha Holquist. I'm visiting. I'm the grandmother, and the grandfather is right there. And this is a joy for Graham in general. He is a senior in high school and has made his applications, as everybody knows how seniors have to do. In music, what you do is you send an audition tape, and then they invite you to come audition in person, and then they decide, because music is like athletics. It's very different from other things. He has invitations in the next few months, and you have been a great support to him, and you have allowed him to grow here, and we are joyful for you, and we're thankful for you. And he's in the back, and he won't come in because we're both embarrassing him, but this is a joy for Graham and his future. Thank you.
The final stone is placed for all the joys and the sorrows that we hold in our hearts that were not spoken, but are no less real. Won't you join with me for a few moments of prayer and meditation? Spirit of life, source of our being and our becoming, we step into a new year, but a world not made new. We step into new possibility. It still carry the pain and the challenges that were there before. We step into a new year. And we find in ourselves the courage to love, to work for change, to practice tenderness and kindness with each other, to promote our values as best we can, to hold on to hope as we must. We hold in our hearts, first this morning, those in this community. We witness each other's struggles. We celebrate each other's joys. We give thanks for the gifts we share and the community we create. And we hold as well, we let our love and our care swell to extend to our wider world, to remember those who are afraid, who are suffering, who are struggling. I invite you to hold with me a few moments of silence as we connect to the prayers and the longings that reside in the depths of our own hearts. I invite you to be still with me for a time. As it is when we are in the presence of our truest selves, so may it also be in our thoughts, our words, and our deeds. I invite us to remain seated as we sing our next song of the morning. It is Return Again in the Teal hymnal.
Return
A teaching. In the Jewish and Christian traditions, it is said that God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh. From this creation story comes the practice of keeping the Sabbath, a seventh day of rest set aside from the other 6. This pattern repeats. In an agrarian society, there is an annual cycle of planting and harvesting, but the Bible instructs that on the 7th year, the fields should be left fallow and vines should not be pruned. It is from this biblical cycle that we get the concept of a sabbatical. 6 days of work and 1 day of rest, 6 years of sowing and reaping, and 1 year where the fields lay fallow. In the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, there is an extension of this pattern. It instructs that after 7 cycles of 7 years, there should be an observance of a Jubilee year. The Jubilee year is also known as the Year of Liberation, and it is said to begin with a blast of a trumpet. The Jubilee year involves an almost complete resetting of the economic system. The hallmarks of the Jubilee year include the cancellation of debts, the freeing of those held in labor bondage and indentured servitude, and land ownership being reverted to its previous owner. Those who interpret the Bible through a progressive lens consider the Jubilee year to be a central component of economic justice. The Jubilee year prevents excessive economic inequality and reduces the ability of wealth to be transferred across generations. Historians of the ancient world can find little evidence that the Jubilee year was actually ever observed. We leave it to you to imagine how different our world would be if the Jubilee year was a practice in our society. And now it is time for our offertory. Freely have we received gifts that minister to our needs of body and spirit, and gladly we bring to our church and its wide concerns a portion of this bounty. If you wish to donate online, please point your camera at the QR code on the back of the order of service and tap the banner that appears, or there is information on the church's website. We will now receive the morning offering.
I know that as we come together today for worship, a lot of us are thinking of the events of yesterday. Melva, you beat me to it. Yesterday morning, the United States military conducted strikes in Venezuela, deposed Venezuela's president, captured him, and brought him to our country to stand trial. In my mind, yesterday's events represent a glaring escalation of unlawful violence against Venezuela, which has included blowing up boats in international waters, seizing ships, and more. And in my mind, yesterday's events represent yet another glaring escalation by an administration with no respect for the Constitution or the rule of law, and is yet another example of the corruption and cruelty and racism and authoritarianism of our government. I want to also just speak briefly about yesterday in light of our congregation's, this congregation's deep involvement in immigration work over the past decade, and our congregation's work in Central America, led by people like Joe and Lucy Straley in the decades before I came to Chapel Hill. We know that the United States has, for more than a century, worked to destabilize countries, oust heads of state, attack and invade countries across Central America, South America, and the Caribbean, from Cuba to Chile, from Guatemala to Venezuela. History tells us that these actions usually only exacerbate devastation and increase suffering for the people of these nations, increasing poverty, violence, instability, and often engendering human rights abuses. History also tells us that these actions are carried out at the benefit of corporate interests who are able to extract wealth and labor and resources from Latin American nations. Last month, I was the guest preacher at the UU Fellowship of Raleigh, and after both services, I had several congregants approach me and ask me for spiritual guidance for facing these times. They said, what are you telling your congregation in Chapel Hill? I gulped, and here is how I answered those who approached me. First, I said, to face these times, absolutely do not surrender or allow them to take from you what is not theirs to take. Do not surrender your joy. Do not surrender your kindness. Do not surrender your mind or the integrity of your thought. We all know that teaching from Timothy Snyder, do not obey in advance, which is a true teaching, but it's also written in academic jargon that disguises what it's really saying, which is, hell no, make me. Do not obey in advance. Hell no, make me. Second, I said, we should be constantly asking ourselves, what is a more courageous thing that we might do? I told them down in Raleigh that last year our worship theme for the year was courage. And we face challenging times by challenging ourselves to step out from what is safe. For you, for each of us, that might be something different. For some, it might mean holding a sign on a street corner or getting involved in an organization or doing door-to-door canvassing or running for public office. First, don't let them steal your joy, your mind, your soul. Second, push against your comfort zone and become a little more courageous. And third, I said, support the organizations that embody your values. In times of anxiety, we can internalize fear as self-censorship, as withdrawal, or as pulling back from those connections that represent us and our values and our dreams in the world. This is a time to become more generous if you're able to do so. Plus, I might add that your contributions to many organizations may be tax deductible for you, and I'd rather be sending money to places that are fighting for my values rather than funding authoritarianism. Don't let them steal your joy. Get courageous. Generously support your values. And I guess in line with that part about not surrendering my joy, I have to say that one of the things that I resent It's way down there on my scale of resentments, but still. Is this pressure to react, the extra labor expected? So I want to go ahead and deliver the sermon I had enjoyed thinking about and wrestling with and exploring, because I'm not going to let them take my joy. It's a sermon for the beginning of a new year. It's a sermon that wrestles with a question that may speak to your own sense of self, or to your relationships, or even to a greater societal understanding. And this is a sermon that's going to explore a tension, a paradox that we all live with. It's the question of whether or not it is ever really possible to start over. And it begins with the plot of a fairly obscure movie. The movie is The Apostle, which came out in the late 90s. Like, nobody saw it, and so if you saw it, you're one of the very few. The Apostle was a passion project of Robert Duvall, who wrote, directed, produced, and starred in the film, and earned him a Best Actor nomination. And the movie is about a Pentecostal preacher from Texas. He discovers that his wife is having an affair with the youth pastor of the church, and the preacher winds up snapping one day. And in a fit of passion, he strikes the youth pastor and kills him. Don't worry, this is going somewhere. Wanted for homicide, the Pentecostal preacher fakes his own death, flees across the state line, and starts his life over from scratch in Louisiana. In rural Louisiana, he winds up starting his own church. Nothing changes, really. And this church that he starts does amazing work. It serves the needy and the downtrodden. It transforms lives. His ministry even manages to promote greater racial harmony and understanding and acceptance in the community. It's a miracle. And then, spoiler alert, his past catches up with him. He's arrested and held responsible for his past actions. I saw this movie, I think, in like 1997. And what I liked so much about it was its moral ambiguity. While this preacher, this Pentecostal preacher, is growing a powerful, life-changing ministry in Louisiana, I'm cheering for him. I'm inspired. That difference that he's making is so real. And at the same time, I'm concerned. This dude killed somebody. He's hiding his past from everyone. At the end of the film, when he's arrested, I felt disappointment and sadness, but also a sense of relief. Now, if this idea of a murderer turned apostle seems like Hollywood fiction to you, you may be forgetting that this story actually has deep biblical roots. Think of Moses. Moses, the most central character in the Hebrew Bible, commits murder before going on to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. The story goes that Moses sees an Egyptian slave master abusing an Israelite, flies into a rage, slays the Egyptian. Moses then flees the scene, goes into hiding, and it's while Moses is in hiding that God speaks to him and tells him that he has been chosen to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt. But there's actually a story that's even closer to the plot of the Apostle, which is the story of Paul in the New Testament. Paul is a figure perhaps only second to Jesus in his importance. Paul, we might remember, begins as Saul of Tarsus. Saul violently persecutes the early Christian community, and it's even suggested that Saul is an accomplice in the murder of Stephen. But a conversion experience transforms him, and he becomes Paul the Apostle. He starts all over again. In thinking of the plot of the movie The Apostle, starring Robert Duvall, or Moses, or Paul the Apostle, there's a question we might ask. Is it ever really possible to start over? Is it ever really possible to start over? Just like my reaction to the movie The Apostle, I'm torn. There's a side of me that believes in justice, in practicing accountability, taking responsibility, in consequences. But there's another side of me that believes in mercy and grace and the power of transformation. Does anyone ever wrestle with this? Am I the only one here? Now, it's easy to reject the extremes. On one hand, I don't think any of us want to live in a world with only judgment, where every mistake we might ever make continues to burden us until the end of our days. Most of us would be crushed under that weight if we had a conscience. At the same time, there's an extreme on the other side that also is problematic. It's the side with so much grace and so much mercy that you can just start with a clean slate anytime you want. There's a scene in the movie Apostle where the preacher, after fleeing the state, takes himself down to the riverbank and rebaptizes himself and renames himself. I'm no longer that person, I'm a new person. I'm no longer Saul, I'm Paul. There's a part of me that loves that desire to start over afresh. And there's another part of me that wonders, surely it can't be that easy, can it? I think this is why I find myself completely fascinated by this notion of a Jubilee year as described in Leviticus. Like so many other passages, this is a passage that's been deeply scrutinized and hotly debated, probably because it is so radical. On the surface, it seems to say that during the 50th year, after 7 cycles of 7 years, there will be a complete reset. Property rights revert, debts canceled, the proverbial slate wiped clean. And I love how completely disruptive this is. It would change everything. But is it ever really possible to start over? Historians of the ancient Near East have said that they can't find any evidence that the Jubilee year was actually practiced, which is probably not surprising. It's really hard to start over. I'm going to talk about 2 different but also somewhat related examples of how it can be truly challenging to start over. One example has to do with transgenerational trauma, and the other example has to do with legacies of racial injustice. For the first example, I want to admit that I am talking about something that is far outside my area of expertise, and so I mention this speculatively, not authoritatively. Within psychology and even genetic science, there's a concept that's known as generational or transgenerational or intergenerational trauma, which is to say that intense trauma experienced by one generation is passed down to future generations. It actually goes deeper than that. There's a concept known as epigenetics, I think, which posits that particularly intense experiences of trauma, genocide, war, colonization, apartheid, actually cause changes at the cellular and genetic level, impacting future generations. I can't comment on the science of this, but I can comment on the theological significance. What this epigenetic theory of transgenerational trauma seems to say is that we should be wary of assuming a fresh start is possible. Even babies can be born with the imprint of past horrors and injustices on them. Similarly, this past week, my family and I enjoyed a quick vacation to Atlanta. And in Atlanta, one of the highlights for me was paying a visit to the National Center for Human and Civil Rights. I'm so glad we made this a part of our trip. I think it was Paige. Did you encourage me to go there, or was it Paul? I think it was both. Paige and Paul both encouraged me to check it out. I had this sermon of whether it's possible to start over in my mind as I visited an exhibit that had to do with thriving African American communities in our country that were completely destroyed by white rage. One of those communities here in North Carolina was Wilmington, where a coup forced progressive, anti-racist, democratically elected representatives from office, and a mob destroyed black-owned businesses and cultural institutions. The other community in the exhibit was Tulsa, Oklahoma, in 1921, in which an affluent black community was completely destroyed in a day. 1,000 homes and businesses burned to the ground. These horrors remind us of how we can talk about starting over, talk about turning the page, but there's also a sense that historical injustices, the truth that historical injustices continue to shape today's realities powerfully. So is it possible to start over? There is no Jubilee year. 2026 is not a Jubilee year. Indeed, there may never have been one at all. There is no holy reset button in the world that can be pressed to cancel our debts and share the wealth and mend every fracture. The words of our opening reading said, "So it is. Everything is the same, bound into its history as we ourselves are bound." But then it continues, yet we also stand at a threshold. The new year, something truly new, still unformed, leaving a stunning power in our hands. The Jubilee year may not be an external reality, but it is an internal possibility. A possibility in our lives to practice that mercy and that grace, those new beginnings, to heal the fractures, to work to reset what is broken. As you go forth into this new year, I invite you to hold the past, but also keep the future as a possibility, merging both into this present. I'm glad to be walking with you. Amen, and blessed be. And together we're going to sing our closing hymn, which is a hymn about that feeling of Jubilee, I think. It's "I Wish I Knew How." I know it, the Nina Simone version, and I invite us to sing it with our brave voices.
I
Please remain standing in body or in spirit. The words for extinguishing the chalice are in your order of service. Please join me if you wish to do so. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please join me in thanking Graham Hallquist and everyone who made our service so worshipful this morning. And now join us in singing Shalom. The words are in your order of service. Please hold hands with your neighbor or cross them over your heart as you are comfortable.